If you could be a part of saving or enhancing 500,000 lives a year, would you do it? We want you to know about a national effort that impacts the lives of thousands, maybe even someone you know. Every year, nearly 30,000 life-saving organ transplants are performed across the country. Organ donors are the heroes that make this possible. Hear the stories of recipients, donors, and medical professionals who tell of the miracle of organ donation. We want you to be ready to decide for yourself.
The doctor told me I had to start thinking about a transplant.
Yeah, 10 years ago I had a kidney transplant.
I'm a heart transplant survivor, 3 years now.
And a liver transplant recipient.
I received a live liver transplant.
Had my heart transplant November 20th of 1995.
You know, I sat down with my family, we sat down and talked about it, and by being around Chris, he enlightened me on how important it is and how hard it is for people who need the organs. Told me that there's not really enough to go around.
Everybody agrees that donating their organs is a good idea, but a lot of people don't ever take that step to sign up. This is all about raising that awareness and getting people to check that box on their driver's license.
Hi, I'm Chris Klug, liver transplant recipient and bronze medalist snowboarder. Almost 10 years ago, I received a life-saving liver transplant. I'm here today because of the heroic and selfless decision of another family. I want to share with you today the facts about organ and tissue donation so that you have the tools to make an educated and informed decision, and so that you also know the steps to take to designate that decision. I've been snowboarding for almost 25 years. In 1998, I had a chance to represent our country in snowboarding's first Winter Olympic Games in Nagano, Japan, where I finished in 6th place. Very few people knew that in 1998, I was actually on a transplant waiting list. I was diagnosed in the early 90s through a routine physical with a very rare and life-threatening liver disease called PSC, the same disease that led to the death of one of my true heroes and football greats, Walter Payton. After 6 years on a transplant waiting list and 3 months at a critical stage, my wait was over. After a 6-hour liver transplant surgery, I had a second chance at life. 4 days later, I was out of the hospital, and 7 weeks later, back on my snowboard again. A year and a half after my liver transplant, I had a chance to represent our country again in 2002 at the Salt Lake City Winter Games, where I won a bronze medal. Seeing the American flag being raised overhead and a bronze medal being placed around my neck was a highlight of my life. The next day, I got a chance to meet my donor family for the very first time, to thank them in person for giving me the gift of life and to share in that victory together. My donor family are my true heroes. I'm healthier and stronger than ever before my transplant. There's nothing I can't do. I'm forever grateful and forever humbled by the decision to donate. I think this is the real miracle of organ and tissue donation. I'm not the only one that has been through the transplant process. Meet some of my friends who have a transplant story of their own to tell.
Sean Elliott preceding Jason Terry there. Sean with the ball now by about 10 meters. Elliott off the pick and roll with that. Shoots from the hole.
March of 1999. I had been really diagnosed with kidney disease previously, way back as far as 1993, but my condition was pretty stable. But during the season in 1999, I had noticed a few changes in my body. I wasn't feeling as good as I had been previously, and I went in for a doctor's appointment just to, basically get a checkup, and I found out that, hey, things were going terribly wrong, and at that time the doctor told me I had to start thinking about a transplant.
Since its transplant and unprecedented return to pro basketball, Sean has been a great friend to the transplant community and the National Kidney Foundation. Sean received his transplant from his brother Noel nearly 3 years ago and is doing just great.
The great feeling was that, my brother not only wanted to, but he was really eager to do it, and he felt like it was his calling, that he was there. He's my older brother by a year and a half, so He told me that he always felt like he had to look after me, and he was here to do this, and that was a great feeling. I didn't know anything about organ transplantation. I didn't know that there were thousands of people waiting on the transplant list every day. I didn't know that people were dying every day because they were waiting on the transplant list.
I mean, when I look at myself coming back and playing, I mean, that to me is not courage. I think what you people are doing, stepping out, becoming athletes, the donor families, deciding to really give something back to somebody out there, that's courage. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Elliott.
Oh, it means everything to me. I mean, it enables me to live the lifestyle that I lead now. And you know, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. I wouldn't have been able to come back and play. I wouldn't be able to announce games for the Spurs now. So my quality of life would be severely diminished, and I owe all that to my brother.
The reason why I have a heart transplant is not because of a lifestyle that was conducive to put me in poor health, and not because of any kind of family history, but because I caught a random virus that really could have attacked any other part of my body, but for some reason it just found a home in my heart.
Okay.
When I first got my heart transplant, it was in 1995, it was right after Christmas. And my husband gave me a beautiful gift, and that was a charm bracelet that was naked of charms. And he presented it to me as if this is a new beginning, and I want to fill it with milestones that you have with your new heart. But the way I looked at this was, it'd be kind of fun to fill it with mountains that I climb with my new heart. And there it began. Through my personal experience, I did, when I turned 16, I checked that box on my driver's license. And I'm glad I did, because I never in a million years would anticipate that I would be standing here talking about organ donation, because I was not a candidate. And I guarantee nobody thinks they're ever going to be a candidate. Nobody ever expects anything like that to happen. You know, it's been 13 years and I've done that. My bracelet is full of charms of mountains that I've climbed with my new heart. I feel like there's nothing but opportunity ahead of me, and I have no fear of length of life, years left, what might happen, you know, all these things that a lot of people living with conditions have, and I just feel like the world is mine.
Donors are the miracle of donation. They say yes to helping others. Most of the time, their gift benefits complete strangers, and their decision to donate comes at a very difficult time for the donor family. I'm proud to introduce my friend, donor father Bob Wade, to share the heroic story of his son Robbie.
My son Robbie was a very adventurous young guy, and he was also a very compassionate young man, and I think that was a wonderful blend. I do know that when he got his license at 16, that it had the little heart on it. He had chosen at that time to be an organ donor. That's the kind of person he was. Of course, he made the decision as to whether he wanted to be an organ donor or not by checking that form when he was getting his driver's license. So when it came to carrying out what Robbie wanted, that was easy for us as a family. Robbie's gift was perhaps saving as many as 6 lives, and that his tissues maybe improved the lives of as many as 30-some people. You know, it's a very personal decision. Perhaps it's not for everyone, but to us, it's if you have something and you can give it, why not? It's worth thinking about. Whichever way you come down, whatever side of the equation you come down on, thinking about potentially helping somebody, getting outside of your the world of your needs and looking at what other people's needs are is a good thing. I mean, what greater gift than giving somebody continued life?
I hope you'll join me in saying yes to donation and designating your decision with your state donor registry to help the more than 100,000 individuals currently waiting across the country for an organ transplant, many of which will not survive without a life-saving transplant. In order to make this decision, it's important you know the facts about organ donation.
Nearly 100,000 U.S. patients are currently waiting an organ transplant, and every month 4,000 more are added to that list.
You can decide which organs and tissues you want to make available for a donation. Just check the boxes when you register to be a donor.
One donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation and up to 50 lives through tissue donation.
Every 12 minutes, another name is added to the organ transplant waiting list. Help do your part in saving lives.
Every day, 18 people die waiting for the transplant of a solid organ, such as a heart, liver, kidney, pancreas, or lung.
Over 90% of Americans support organ transplantation, but only 30% know the steps needed to become organ donors.
About the guy I read about on the internet that woke up in a tub of ice with his kidneys missing and being sold on the black market.
This is impossible in the current situation. Organ transplant is such a complex procedure. There is no way in the world that you can do it in private. It's too complex, cannot be done.
I heard that my parents have to pay for donor surgery.
A person who becomes an organ donor doesn't have to pay any other added costs because they are an organ donor.
If I am in an accident and the hospital knows I'm a donor, they won't try as hard to save my life.
When people come into a trauma or ER bay, the doctors that are taking care of them and trying to save their lives at that point have really nothing to do with organ donation. It's only when they are declared brain dead or found to be unsurvivable cases that the organ donation procurement organization is even contacted.
They don't want any of my organs because I have a medical condition.
Most people are actually healthier than they think they are, so that if you want to be an organ donor, you can be. And most people, even if they party a little bit or maybe they have some medical problems, most people can still donate an organ.
It might be awkward for my family to see the donor family all the time.
Donor information is protected and confidential. We don't release the donor family information to the recipient. Information is screened very carefully so for communication is in a positive manner post-transplant.
My religion does not allow me to be a donor.
If you and I in our short lives, and they are really short, have the chance to give part of our physical body away to give somebody else the gift of life, that's an amazing thing and something that all world religions would celebrate.
Donor dude! Be a donor, dude. I am.
Make a difference. Give someone a chance and be an organ donor for Donor Dudes.
Be a donor, we are. It's a cool thing to do.
Be a donor, dude.
Be a donor, dude.
Be a donor, dude.
Be a donor, dude.
Become a donor, dude.
Be a donor, dude!
Just get involved, and it's an awesome thing. I mean, saving lives. What better thing could you do?
Yeah, it's pretty easy too. Like when you take your permit test, all you got to do is check a box, and then pretty much that tells your family and your friends what you want to do if you're ever in an accident and save somebody's life.
There's no bad thing that can happen with it, only good things.
Make the decision.
Be an organ donor.
Join us in doing your part to help save lives.
Every year, the lives of 500,000 Americans can be saved through organ transplantation.
Be a donor, dude.
Team Donor Dudes!
Now that you know the facts about donation, here are the 3 ways to designate your decision and get involved. Register to be an organ and tissue donor on your state's online donor registry. Each state is different, so visit chrisklugfoundation.org and click on Donate Life to register in your state. Say yes the next time you receive or renew your driver's license at the Division of Motor Vehicles. And finally, have the conversation with your family and tell them your donation decision. Talk to your friends, encourage them to learn the facts and make a decision. Host a Donor Dudes event at your church, club, or workplace. We're here to help support you and get the word out together. Join Team Donor Dudes. Get your sports team or club to join Team Donor Dudes. Make donation a priority with your team. It's a great team building cause. Almost everywhere you go, there's a connection to organ donation. Visit chrisklugfoundation.org to learn more about organ donation. We can help answer your questions and help support your Donor Dudes activities. You can make a difference. Join me and say yes to organ donation and help to eliminate the wait for the over 100,000 people currently waiting.